Yes, good afternoon, students. Again, today I am meeting you for the subject of optical fiber communication. Yesterday we made discussion on what is optical fiber communication, how, what is the concept of the basic electronics communication system, how it can be compared with the optical fiber communication link, what are the various terminologies associated with optical fiber, what is the bandwidth, how we can become familiar with the electromagnetic spectrum, what is the frequency range of the optical fiber communication, and what are the advantages, disadvantages, and applications of optical fiber communications. I mean, optical fiber communication systems. This is what I made uh, lecture on this, but on these particular topics yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed the lecture. So today I'm again meeting you with a number of new concepts of light. I mean, what are the basic terms which are associated with the light? How light can be propagated through the optical fiber, which is acting as a waveguide, and what are the properties of the optical fiber? What are the types and how we can classify the optical fibers depending on their properties? Fine. So these terms we will discuss. I mean, what is the physics of light and how it can be important for optical fiber communication? This we will discuss today, right? Although, uh, you know, this concept of physical light, I mean, physics of the light, that can be explained here. I'm going to explain with the help of wave tracing properties, which are giving quite good and accurate results. In higher classes, you will go through the Maxwell equations, which are mathematical equations. You will understand the deep concept of the optical light. But at the polytechnic level, let me tell you the concepts of light through wave tracing system. In atom, we are already familiar with the atom. Atom, it is a smallest particle, uh, so small even beyond your imagination. But it is consisting three major parts. I mean, electron and then nucleus. Nucleus is consisting neutron and proton, and electrons are having positive charge. Sorry, negative charge, and proton is having negative charge, and a neutron is having no charge. Fine. But in atoms, whenever it is getting energy, the electrons from the lower state, which is called as ground state, it is uplifting toward the higher state, which is called exciting state. But they are not staying there; they are decaying. I mean, falling down. While falling down, they radiate the energy in the terms of light. Here in concept, I mean, energy is being released when they are falling. Means when they are decaying from higher energy level to lower energy level, and so that energy is nothing. It is energy difference between the two energy levels. I mean, ground one, lower level energy, and higher one level. And the energy which is radiated, that is in terms of photon. So look at this equation 1.2. So E2 minus E1 is equal to EP. This is the energy of the photon, and E2 is the excited state, means other energy level, higher energy level, E1 is the lower energy level. So this energy level difference is equal to the energy of the photon. Fine. Even this is called spontaneous emission when electron from the higher level, from the higher energy level is falling down on the lower energy level at its own. So that is spontaneous emission. Fine. Or spontaneous decay, we can say. But on the other hand, if I mean, if atom is irradiated by external energy of photon, so of course it absorbs the energy in terms of photon. Fine. Again, this electrons are uplifting toward the higher energy level, so they are falling. And this absorption of the energy is nothing. They can absorb the energy in the form of, you can say, packet, and that is called photon again. So this is similar to the emission of the photon, and that is why how it can be mathematically expressed as E2 minus E1 is equal to EP, and this is the photon of the energy, and this is the energy difference between the two levels. Fine. And EP is equal to this photon energy is can also be expressed as H into F, where H is a Planck's constant having value 6.625 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second, and F is the frequency of the light which is emitted in terms of hertz, right? And this photon energy can be in terms of wavelength, it can be put the value of the frequency that is to C over lambda. So this becomes Hc over lambda. This is the photon energy. This is mathematical expression in equation 1.54, 1.4. Fine. I hope you understand this concept. Now we will discuss the concept of velocity of propagation. You know, velocity of the light. It can light can travel through the free space through the air. At the rate of 3 lakh kilometer per second, or 300 million meter per second, or 186,000. I mean 1,86,000 miles per second in free space. So this is the velocity of light, and all the other light frequencies in the frequency the free space are having the same velocity of propagation. But if the same light is passing through some other material medium, its velocity gets reduced. Fine. Material is showing its resistance to the flow of the light. Fine. So that is why velocity of through any material medium, then the free space it is reduced, and of course it will not be same as in case of free space. So fine. We can discuss the velocity of an electromagnetic wave is reduced as it passes from one medium to another medium of a denser material. So light ray is reflected. I mean refracted. Refraction means it is bending. It is bending toward the normal. So whenever light is passing from lower medium, I mean transparent medium, to the toward the denser medium, so it refract. I mean it is bending. Fine. So bending whenever it is coming from low denser medium toward the high denser medium, it is bending toward the normal. And whenever it is coming from high dense material to low dense material, I mean it is penetrating, then it is bending away from the normal. I will let you know in this particular lecture only. Refraction is the term associated with the light. Fine. So let me tell you through this diagram. Look at this diagram. I hope you understand this. I've expanded it. So look at this is the lower one part is the less dense medium, and this, I mean left hand side, and this side is the more dense medium. When light is incidenting from light from any source is incidenting from low dense medium toward this, so it is refracted. It is, so this is normal. This is normal. I mean light is away from the normal. See, let me tell you, low dense medium and high dense medium, or I can say, so this is wherever this low dense medium and high dense medium are meeting, that is the interface. And when light is striking that particular point, this is called point of incidence. A line drawn at this is called normal. This is the normal dotted line. And refracted ray, which is penetrating in this dense medium, I mean, so this is making an angle with the normal. So if it is from low dense to high dense, I mean light is penetrating from low dense medium to high dense medium, then it is bending towards normal. Fine. Let me show you this another diagram. This is a prism, and you in the lower classes you are quite familiar with the concept of the light. What is how light can pass through the prism and how it is spreading out. I mean how it is dispersed out. See, this is a white light source. Sunlight is a white light source, and wherever now this is coming, this is the media which is called air, and air is a less dense medium. Whenever it is striking the glass is having a high dense material, and or you can see it is having high density effect. It is a high dense material, and this is point of incidence. Wherever light is striking, at the point of incidence, normal is coming into the picture, and from this light is refracted. Fine. See how white light is dispersed into different wavelengths and how different wavelengths are showing here different colors. Fine. See this violet wavelength. It is the inner. It is the refracted much. It is bending towards the normal much, and the least is the red. So this is a bit Dior. Here indigo is missing. Fine. So from low to dense, it is bending towards the normal. Fine. So this ray, this ray is passing directly. So it is unrefracted ray. It means refractive index of this part and refractive index of this part, it is equal. That is why it is not showing any kind of bending. Fine. So this is called prismatic effect of refraction. And because of this prismatic effect of refraction, you can see the effect of, you can see the rainbow effect as also different colors as also. Why when there is a heavy rain and after heavy rain there is a sunlight, and some water drops which are present in the air, when sunlight is striking on them, all the as water droplets, they are acting as this mirror. I mean, they are acting as this prism mirror. So light is striking on them, and their light, after passing through, they are spreading in different colors of wavelengths. So that is why we are having the effect of rainbow, color effect of rainbow. This is prismatic reflection. Fine. I hope you understand the concept of reflection. Fine. And what is the refraction constant? I mean, what is the refractive index? What is the refractive index? This is actually the property of the light, which tells how much light is bending towards or bending away from the normal whenever light is passing from low dense to high dense or high dense to low dense material. Fine. Otherwise, in terms of velocity, it can be defined as the ratio of the velocity of the light or in the air to the velocity of the light, which is propagating through the material medium. Fine. C is of course speed of light in free space. It is 300 million meters per second or 3 lakhs kilometers per second. And this small v is nothing. It is the velocity of the light which is passing through the material medium. Fine. I hope you understand the concept of this refractive index. Rather, this is the ratio of the two velocities. Velocities of free space to the velocities of the light through the material medium. Fine. And how the concept of reflection, this can be explained with the this another diagram. Snell was a scientist who has given the law. Let me show you through the diagram. Look at. Now I'm expanding this particular transparency. Before discussing this particular diagram using Snell's principle, let me tell you some of the medium which are showing index of refraction. Vacuum having a refractive index, this value is 1 only. Air is having a refractive index 1.0003, approximately 1, and water is having 1.33. Then you can see ethyl alcohol, it is 1.36. Then fused quartz 1.46. Glass fiber, this is varying from 1.5 to 1.9. Diamond 2.0 to 2.42, and silicon 3.4, and gallium arsenide is 3.6. Look, the density of the index of refraction is increasing right from vacuum to gallium arsenide. So as density is increasing, velocity of propagation, it is decreasing, and refractive index is increasing. And as we told, as I just in the previous previous slide, look at this. Refractive index is equal to, is nothing. It is the ratio of, look at this, ratio of velocity of light to the velocity of light through the material medium. Now this is inversely proportional to the V. This is inversely proportional to the V. So whenever light will pass through water, through the silicon, through the quartz, fused quartz, silica, or diamond, its velocity will be decreased, because refractive index is increased. This velocity of the material medium which is passing through the material medium will be decreased. Fine. Now, using what is the refractive model of Snell's law? Snell's law. Look at this. This is the material. This is one medium which is having a refractive index of n1. Another one is a material medium. That another medium is having a refractive index n2. When an incident light from medium one, it is striking at this point. Fine. This is called theta one is called angle of incidence, right? And wherever it is striking, this is point of incidence, and this line is called as normal line. A normal, normal. And from one medium to another medium, fine. Whenever light is passing, it is penetrating. This is called a refraction. And this ray of light, if the if it is passing from low dense medium to high dense medium, it is bending away from the normal. Look at this angle theta 2. This is bending away from the normal. DC n1 is greater than n2. Fine. So sorry, from more dense to less dense. Sorry, from more dense to less dense, then it is bending away from the normal. From high dense, fine. From high dense to low dense, it is bending away from the normal. From low dense to high dense, it is bending towards the normal. Fine. See, n1 is less than n2. So both are reflected, but it is bending towards, it is bending away. Fine. And this is the dotted line where both the refractive indexes are same. So it is passing as it is. Fine. Fine. It is not bending, but these are showing this away from the normal and more to less dense. It is bending away from the normal. This angle is much. Refracted angle is much, but this angle is less, as n1 is less than n2. So how this can be expressed in the form of mathematical equation? Snell's has given a mathematical equation in his refractive model. Look at this equation. N1, N1 is the refractive index of one medium, and theta 1 is the angle of incidence. So N1 sine theta 1 is equal to N2 sine theta 2. This sine theta 2. This is the equation as manipulated or mathematically or experimentally he has discovered. He has made inventions while he performing in his experiment. So Snell's has given this mathematical equation. So N1 sine theta 1. N1 is the refractive index of medium 1. Theta 1 is the angle of incidence. N2 is the refractive index of medium 2, and theta 2 the angle of refraction. Both angles are measured in degrees. Fine. Okay. These are the models of refractive model of Snell's law, which you understood. Fine. As I just explained. Fine. Now, see in this particular example of mathematical, see, let medium 1 be a glass and medium 2 be a ethyl alcohol. For an angle of incidence 30 degree, determine the angle of reflection. This is one of the example. See, look, N1, the medium is, medium is glass. Refractive index of N1, it means high density. See, the value is 1.5. And N2 is ethyl alcohol. This is the refractive index of ethyl alcohol. This is 1.36. So light is passing from glass to ethyl alcohol, means high dense to low dense. Of course, when moved to less dense, it will away. It will refracted. It will keep away from the bending away from the normal. Fine. So how it can be calculated using that Snell's law equation? Fine. N1 sine theta 1 is equal to N2 sine theta 2. N2 is coming over here. Put the values of N1 and N2. See, N1 is 1.5 and N2 is 1.36. Sine 30. Theta 1 is angle of incidence. This is given. So sine 30 is 1/2. You after calculation, this is coming 0.5514, which is nothing but it is equal to sine theta 2. And theta 2 is the angle of refraction. You can calculate theta 2 is equal to sine inverse of this particular value, and this is coming to 33.47 degree. This is angle of refraction. Fine. This way we can calculate it. angle of refraction using Snell's law equation. Fine. What is critical angle? What is critical angle? From that particular equation which we have developed just now from the Snell's refractive model, n1 sine theta 1 is equal to n2 sine theta 2. Fine. Use simply. Now theta 2 is the angle of refraction. Light, when light is passing from one medium to another medium, either from low dense to high dense or from high dense to low dense, it is the refracted. Either it from high dense to low dense, it is bending away from the normal, or from low dense to high dense, it is bending towards the normal. Okay, and fine. If theta 2, if refraction is in such a way, if refraction is in such a way, that theta 2 becomes 90 degree, I mean angle of refraction, if it is 90 degree, then fine. Then at which angle, this angle of refraction, at which angle of incidence the value of theta 2, I mean angle of refraction, becomes 90 degree, that value is called critical angle. Fine. See, critical angle is what? This is incident ray at particular angle. It is striking the interface of the two medium. Fine. So, of course, light will penetrate to the another medium. It will be refracted. If it is refracted, if it is from high dense to low dense, it is bending away from the normal. And of course, across the line, I mean across the boundary of the two medium. So it is making angle 90 degree. Fine. So wherever theta becomes 90 degree, add the angle of incidence theta 1. So that is called critical angle. And since theta 2 is 90 degree and sine 90 degree, sine 90, it is 1. So put the value over 1 over here. So this sine theta 1 will be equal to n2 over n1. Fine. From the Snell's law of equation. And Snell's law of equation. From here, you can calculate theta 1 in terms of how it can be sine inverse n2 over n1. And this becomes a critical angle of incidence. Fine. Critical angle of incidence at which refraction angle becomes 90 degree. Fine. Let me show you through this diagram. Look at this diagram. Look at this diagram. I hope it will be visible to you. So this is the angle of incidence. This is the value of the angle of the incidence, theta 1. This is equal to theta c, critical angle. At this particular angle, this is the ray of light which is refracted at 90 degree. This is the angle of 90 degree. So this refracted ray is along the surface of the two boundaries. I mean at the interface. So this angle of refraction becomes 90 degree. But at what value of critical incidence angle? At what value of incidence angle? At a critical value of the incidence angle, this becomes 90 degree. So this is termed as critical angle. Fine. Now, in the next figure, see, light is still in a refracted mode, even though it is along the boundary of the surface. Fine. It is not okay. Now, still light is not in the position to propagate through the fiber. How it can be propagated through the fiber? See, if this critical angle, look at this here in the lower figure. Now, if this value of the incident ray, if this value of angle is greater than the critical angle, then this light will be reflected back. Fine. At theta 1 is equal to theta c, it will be refracted at 90 degree. If theta 1 is less than critical angle, it will be refracted, but of course it will be bending away from the normal, but it will remain in the same material, same medium, I mean N2 only. Fine. Say this is core, this is clad, core is dense medium, clad is less dense medium. Fine. But at this ray, I mean at along the boundary of the core and cladding, at the interface of the core and cladding, but this theta 1 becomes equal to the theta c. This is critical angle. So this is 90 degree, fine. But still it is refracted at 90 degree. But we don't want, for propagation of the light through the fiber, we want that this light should be in the same medium, I mean in the core itself, I mean in the N1 itself, fine. So for that incident ray at angle theta 1, it should be greater than theta c, then light will be reflected back to the same medium. I mean, when theta greater than theta c, light is reflected back, fine. Light is reflected back. So this way light is reflected back, fine. Okay. Now you must understand the concept of refraction and of course reflection as well. When the incident angle, it is greater than angle of incident angle, so light will be reflected back. Now there is no reflection. There is a refraction, and for the propagation of the light through the fiber, we need reflection. The concept is total internal reflection, TIR. This condition must be fulfilled, then only light will propagate from one end to the other end through the optical fiber. That I will let you know in this particular section only. Fine. So I hope you understand the concept of incidence angle, the concept of incidence angle, angle of reflection, and angle of refraction. Fine. Now, how light can be propagated through an optical fiber? As I just told you, for this, let us become familiar with the two concepts. First, one is what is mode of propagation. Another one is index profile. Mode of propagation is nothing. Mode is simply means the path. Mode simply means the path. Now, if there is only one path for the light to take down the fiber cable, it is called single mode. You know, if there is only one path for the light to take, then this is called single mode. And the fiber based on single mode is nothing. It is a single mode fiber. If there is more than one path, it is called multi-mode. You know, so for one path only, this is called single mode. For many paths, it is called multi-mode. And for fiber based on multi-path of lights, it is called multi-mode fiber. Fiber based on only one path of the light, it is called single mode fiber. Fine. So how light can propagate through the single as well as multi-mode propagation? Let me make you become familiar with the these two figures. Look, the upper one is only one single mode. Light, see, light ray is coming from light source. Light sources are, of course, it can be LED or it can be laser. I will make you familiar with the other sources of the light in the coming chapters of this particular subject later. Fine. So meanwhile, just now you just remember that light rays coming from light sources. Those sources can be LED or laser. So when